Millionaire CEO wants unemployment to jump by 50% because workers have become arrogant. Let's get into it. A multimillionaire property developer from Australia has sparked fury for calling for unemployment to raise by 50% while claiming workers became arrogant during COVID. So essentially what he's saying is he wants it to jump by 40 to 50%, not to 50%, but by 50%, which is still hundreds of thousands of people that he wants to be unemployed because we don't want to be a slave to big tech, big whatever the job it is that you're working for. Let's continue. Gurner Group CEO Tim Gurner told Australian Financial Review's Property Summit that productivity had plummeted during the global pandemic as people decided they didn't really want to work as much. Let's continue this little part and I'm continuing. We need to see pain in the economy, he said. So, because you don't want to work 40, 50 hours making $10 an hour, which these jobs, they are offering that. For example, I was looking for a remote job, okay? Applied for it, got a call, really within 30 minutes. And I was like, oh man, and it said graduates, apply. And I already graduated with my degrees. So I'm like, cool, this is perfect for me. Remote job and everything. I was like, I could do this. Get on the phone's Indian dude. Get on the phone. And mind you, this guy's probably making a good 80 grand a year. So I go and talk to the guy and I was like, yeah, I got my degree. I got all this, got a minor, blah, 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 blah. Right. So then this fool then offers me $13 an hour for a bachelor's degree because it's an entry level job, and I'm like $13 an hour. I was like, yeah, no, because the base pay I've asked for was 50. He's like, oh, that's too much. That's too much. That's too much. I don't think I could. I was like, well, I guess we're done. Because, you can't give me 50. All you can offer me is $13 an hour. What can you buy on $13 an hour? You know what I mean? That right there is, that's food stamps level. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even be able to pay for anything with that kind of money. So for me, I'm like, no. You cannot ask someone or request someone to have a degree and then they provide the degree and then you're like, well, $13 an hour seems fair. Because he said, oh, it's an entry-level job. Well, I worked at a job that was an entry-level job that did not require a degree, and it started out at $21.75. It's an entry-level job that did not require a degree. So if that's what this is, you're shortchanging me by a few bucks, buddy. You know what I mean? But this is what they do. They do this. They want to give you scraps and be like, well, I don't get why y'all don't want to work. Y'all just lazy. No, we want something to work for. And I'll get into all that. But let's continue this. He said, we need to remind people that they work for the employer, not the other way around. Reminder that major CEOs have skyrocketed their own pay so much that the ratio of CEO to worker pay is now at some of the highest levels ever recorded. This is what AOC said, even though I'm not a fan of her, but that is true. Okay. Because, for example, and I'm just using rough numbers. Back then, in today's dollars, let's say you're making $50,000. The person has thousands of employees or something. The CEO would be making like 500,000. Okay. Now you're making 50,000. The CEO is making like 5 million, 5 billion. Where's all that extra money from 500,000 to $5 million? Where's that money? Where's that gap? You did not disperse it amongst your employees. You kept it for yourself. I find that to be very interesting. Got a little bit more than I'm going to give my thoughts. It says in 2017, he said millennials need to stop buying smashed avocados if they wanted to be able to afford their first home. The unemployment rate in Australia is 3.6%, or roughly 500 people, meaning an estimate 250,000 workers will lose their jobs in a 50% increase. Okay. He said the property value for his company is $4.6 billion. Okay. So this is where I'm at with this. What is there to work for? Okay. Now you may say, well, you got to pay your bills and da da. Yeah, whatever. Later for that. What is there really to work for? Okay. Because back in the day, you get a job. The wife is at the house, single, with just by herself or with her kids. Okay, she's taking care of the kids. The husband is out working. His paycheck paid for the house, paid for everything, groceries, everything. That's why she didn't have to work. Now you need 2 to 3 incomes of that same amount, because everything has gone up: inflation, gas, insurance, food, water, housing, everything has gone up significantly. So now you need 2 to 3 incomes in order just to survive. 3 incomes to be comfortable, but 2 just to survive. That's why a lot of people are rooming up with other people, So that's why when people say like, oh, man live with his mama. Now, it's one thing if you bringing chicks over. Okay, you bringing chicks over, you need to not be up in there. But if it's just you, okay, and you're not worried about bringing any chicks over, whatever, live with your mama. As long as you're helping pay. I don't believe in people just living with their parents and them not paying anything. I don't believe in that personally. Okay, because if you'll be paying something out there, you need to be paying something in here. Do not take advantage of other people. Okay, I'm not saying that you got to pay $800 a month. Even if you slide the mama $300, $400 a month just to stay there, that is significantly something that will help. But you look at a lot of things. What is there really to work for? In the United States, now he's in Australia, but I'm talking about the United States personally. There's no universal health care. Your health care is tied to your employer. Not every employer are required to even give you health care. So a lot of people don't have it. And then you have to go on your Medicaid or something like that. But that doesn't guarantee that everything's going to be covered. There's no UBI. There's no holiday. Really, in America, we should have about 6 weeks of paid time off. Paid. Everybody. So we go on vacation, and if the job want to provide something, cool. That's really what it should be. Well, Alex, why do you say that? A lot of countries have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks off, but we don't, and we're the richest country. Okay. What is there to work for? You have the increases in housing and rents. What is there to work for when you are making, let's say, $15 an hour because the job market is ish, and you were just barely getting by. And then they upped your rents by 26%. Alex, when they do that? Chicago. Okay. We've seen what happened in New York is crazy. LA is crazy, all these other places. They're upping your rent significantly, but you're not getting paid more to match that. So what do? You're going to be struggling. You're going to get a roommate, or you're going to be homeless. There's really no in between. Increased taxes is also another thing. There's taxes for you, but the rich, they get all the tax breaks, even though they have all the money. Interesting. There's a lot of union busting. Amazon and Starbucks are infamous for that. No, unions are terrible. But look at what happened with UPS. They're like, yo, we got to get paid more. And now they're going to be, depending on where you are in that level. If you're all the way at the top tier, you're making 6 figures now. Okay. And then they were like, yo, can I get air conditioning in the vehicles? Because it's 90, 100 degrees outside. It's like 115, 120 degrees inside. Can I get air? Can I get a fan installed? Something. Man, y'all asking for too much. What? This is why we need the unions. But then you have a whole bunch of people who are brainwashed to think that it does the opposite, which is not true. People are tired. People are drained. Okay. You also have the fact of the matter where you have jobs who for COVID, it was 2 years. For some people, even 3 years plus of work from home. But Now it's like, oh yeah, but everyone has to go in the office, even though we proved that you could do the job and we were making record profits while you were at home, but everyone has to be in the office, which now that work-life balance that you guys were talking so much about, you don't really care about, and you never did care about it. So now we're back in the office, and you have people who are more miserable than they were before. Like I said, everything has gone up. But here's the thing. Let's say you're going to buy a new house, $250,000 is how much it costs. If you stop getting Starbucks coffees and avocado toast, okay, which I actually made some avocado toast for myself, like at the house, and it's magnifique. It was so good. Oh, it was so good. But I just got some random numbers. Let's just say, for instance, an avocado toast is around $6. Let's say you get a green tea frappe or something like that for $5 from Starbucks, okay? So we're looking at about $11 for that one day. Let's say you only go into work 5 days a week, okay? For me, it'd be 4, but let's just say, well, really, it'd be 6 for me, but let's just say 5 days a week, okay? So we're going to do 5 days a week times, $11, how much it costs. So $55 a week, okay? So we're going to do $55 a week times 4 weeks. That's $220 for the month. Okay, we're going to do $220 for the month times 12 months. We got $26.40. Now, if a house costs $250,000 and you just saved $26.40 for that year, how many years until you're going to be able to put down a $50,000? Let's go and do some math. So let's say, because I had for a $20,000 down payment, you're going to be doing about 7.5 years before you're even able to just touch it. And hopefully nothing happens to your car. Nothing happens, where your rent increases or anything else. Everything is just stagnant, which we know in 8 years that ain't going to happen. So by not having avocado toast is not going to, you're not going to now be saving $2 million a year because you didn't have avocado toast or some Starbucks coffee. You know what I mean? So these millionaires, these CEOs, they want you to just work you to the ground, and they don't want you to have any free time. They want you just 100% be dedicated to the job. Meanwhile, they got yachts, boats, jets, and they get to do whatever they want, whenever they want. And that's supposed to be okay. But you, because you're a worker, you owe us. We don't owe you anything. You owe us. Okay, so if every worker striked, for example, with UPS, because they were like, nah, we're not going to give in to their demands. We're not going to give in to their demands. Okay. So they were like, okay, someone actually did the math. It was one of these articles, and it said that if they went on strike for 6 days, I believe the company was going to lose like almost $2 billion just for pretty much a week of being on strike. And they were like, okay, fine, we'll answer to your demands. Well, why? If the person doesn't matter, if none of us matter, we could all just quit our job today, and then everything would be fine, right? The economy, these CEOs going to be the ones in the warehouse. They're going to be flying with their private jets and their boats. They're going to go to every single warehouse, and they could do it themselves, right? All these CEOs and all these higher ups, they could do everything themselves. Grocery store, no problem. No problem. Y'all gonna be down here, y'all gonna be doing it, right? No, because that's impossible. You have to have the workers. So if you have to have the workers, why is it so hard to just treat workers with decency? Give us the bare minimum that we're requiring. No one's saying that as a cashier, you need to be making $70,000 or make $80,000 a year. You're working, let's say tier 1 or whatever in a warehouse. No one's saying give me $100,000. We're asking for better working conditions. Is $40,000, $50,000 so hard to give us? How about some vacation? We're the richest country, and we can't go and get any of this kind of stuff. How about tip workers so they don't have to be tip workers? Actually pay them a livable wage. Pay them 20, 22, whatever, dollars an hour. How come they can't get that? And if someone wants to tip them, cool. But in a lot of other countries, tipping is not a thing. They don't do that. And that's why I was watching some vlogs from France, and people were saying like, I'll take the money. I'll take the tip because Americans going to give it to us, but we get paid. It's like me getting a tip for my job. I'd be like, I'll take it, but it really, I get paid so I don't have to live off the tips, but I'll take it. You know what I mean? I'm struggling still. Everyone will take an extra tip, but that just isn't normalized. But this kind of stuff is normalized, and these CEOs are okay with just dragging you until you have nothing else. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and also leave a comment down below. I would also appreciate it if you could go on ebay.com, simply type in Latrice Limited, click on shops, and then you can support me right over there. I have a wide variety of items over there. I have many of my own personal Latrice Limited items, which has candles, bath bombs, soaps, essential oil blends, lingerie robes. I have a whole bunch of stuff. I even have comic books on there, men's ties, action figures, a whole bunch of other stuff as well. Definitely support me on there. Like I said, do not forget to like and subscribe, and thank you.